In this week's Talking About Orcs, we're going to be finally talking about some Saga of the Beast reveals and leaks, because a lot of really good juicy stuff has come out. So let's start with this one here. This stratagem was released on the Warhammer community site, Flying Edbutt. Use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one Orc unit from your army that has the Flyer battlefield roll. That model is reduced to 0 wounds and automatically crashes and burns. Do not roll. So this is a suicide kamikaze flight for your planes. Might be useful if they're almost dead, and would be especially useful on the Burna Bomber, which explodes for 3 mortal wounds instead of D3. So might actually find a use for the Burna Bomber for once. Wouldn't that be nice? Let's move on to Psychic Powers. And it turns out there's going to be a new Psychic Power for each clan in the new book. But unfortunately, it looks like that there's only going to be one, and you have to take that instead of one from the Discipline of the Wa. Unlike, so you can't take like a warp head with one clan specific or culture specific power, and then one from the Wa discipline. So you can't take like this and the jump. So you'd have, but that's okay. Weird boys are cheap, so that's not a problem. Let's talk about this one. This is Blood Axes. Clever Talk is a warp charge value of 6, so very castable. If manifested, select one enemy unit visible to the Psyker. Again, no range limit on that, so the Psyker can literally be on the other side of the table. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, this unit cannot fire Overwatch at Blood Axe units from your army and cannot be chosen to fight until all eligible Blood Axe units from your army have done so. So this is absolutely spectacular if you need to multi-charge something. Say you're getting 2 or 3 characters or vehicles into a knight. So you got your war boss and a war bike with the Killer Claw. Maybe you got some boys with a knob with a power fist, and a couple of Megatrack scrap jets. You all multi-charge a knight. You definitely want to use this on here, because that way the knight can't interrupt and kill any units before it can fight. So yeah, this is actually an incredibly good psychic power. It is limited, of course, to Blood Axes, but still not much to complain about. Not much to complain about at all. And so now we'll get into specialist mobs. Sometimes orcs throw off the constraints of their clan and instead group together with other like-minded greenskins. Saga of the Beast lets you do this, giving you a totally new way of building a fun and flavorful orc army. You even get to benefit from a unique subculture related to the specialist mob you choose. If you like burning stuff, choose Pyromaniac Specialist Mob and get the Arsonist subculture. You can, set Pyromaniac's Arsonist. You can reroll any and all of the dice when determining the number of shots made for Burners, Scorches, Burner Bottles, Burn Exhaust, Kilojets, and Scorching Missiles equipped on models in a unit with the subculture. When resolving an attack made with the melee profile of a Burner equipped on a model with the subculture, you can reroll the wound roll. When resolving the Burn of Bombs ability for a unit with a subculture, add 1 to each roll. So this in itself is not very exciting. I mean, if you like Burna Boys, this might be able to do something, because then you can reroll wounds, which is actually quite good on a strength 4 -2 weapon. Now, rerolling wounds could be quite powerful. But so this is just kind of a tease. We really don't know what other kind of cool things are going to be in there. This is okay. I think this is more of a flavorful than competitive, but we just have to wait to see how the exact rules are written for all this stuff, and it could be potentially incredibly powerful. But again, we just have to wait and see. Now let's talk about the one thing that I'm excited most about for what they've released so far, and that's Clever Spanner, Orc Stratagem. Use the stratagem before the battle. Select one Ludas or Burna Boys unit from your army that contains 9 or less models for 1 command point, or one Ludas or Burna Boys unit in your army that contains 10 or more models for 2 command points. While that unit contains 1 or more spanners, you can roll 1 additional dice and discard 1 when determining the number of shots for Burnas or Def Guns equipped on models in that unit. Each unit can only be selected for this stratagem once per battle. So yeah, this is basically investing some in rerolls for your Ludas each turn. So basically, for 2 command points, you're getting 2 rerolls essentially for your Ludas. And this, I yeah, this to me is a no-brainer. For my list, the way I play it, this is an auto take every single game. So we'll have to wait and see how this pans out, because who knows when I'm actually gonna get another game in with what's going on. But yeah, I'm excited for this clever spanner. This fits into my army perfectly. And there are a lot of people saying, well, Ludas just get shot off the table. No, no, they really don't, unless you're playing against Dark Eldar or Green Gene Stealer cults that have the anti-stratagem. They really just simply don't get shot off the table. They're incredibly hard to kill, and in fact, most people won't even bother with the shots because they know you're just going to grot shield them. So they won't even bother shooting at them and waste the shots. So they'll spend the shots on something else they can actually hit. So yeah, this is great. I mean, this is basically investing 2 command points to save 5 command points. And the real thing is, you can still command point one of those dice if you absolutely have to. If you roll a 2 and a 1, you can still command point one of those if you absolutely have to. Yes, it's very expensive, but when it comes to Ludas, for me, Ludas are such an incredible source of damage that it's worth it. So yeah, Clever Spanner is definitely something I want, and something I'm going to have to actually um, put a spanner on 32 millimeter base just so I can play with it. So let's talk into the Mech workshop. So there are a lot of units. Like if you go to other Psychic Awakening books, there's lots of units that are fixed in those other books. Say like the most obvious is railgun equipped broadsides and normal crisis suits in the Tau book. Those receive some serious fixes in those rules. The one unit that needed a fixing and I did not think would actually do it is the Mech Workshop. So Orc mechs never stop messing with their creations. They're always tinkering and experimenting. But when it works, the results can be spectacular. I love that. Saga the Beast lets you take one of these custom jobs for free if you have a Mech Boy Workshop in your army. Use your Killicans, Death Dreads, Morkanauts, and Gorkanaut to get into combat faster. Get them booked in and fitted with Orkimatic pistons. Killicans, Death Dreads, Morkanaut, or Gorkanaut only at 3 inches to that move characteristic. You can reroll advanced rolls made for this unit. If you've got a Mech Boy Workshop, you can still choose a custom job. If you do not have a Mech Boy Workshop, you can still choose a custom job through the use of a stratagem. So everyone can have a souped up special, some nitro powered squigs, or a fortress. So this is a lot of potential. I'm still not sure 80 points investment is going to be worth one of these for free versus a command point. That's something that we'll have to wait and see for the full set of rules and what all kind of custom jobs are available. But even at this, adding 3 inches to a Gorkanaut sounds really, really good because that gives you a base of 11 inches and even a minimum that's still 7 inches on the lowest tier. And if you do happen to run an Evil Sunz Gorkanaut, now you're talking a 12-inch move for Gorkanaut. And with put a Death Killer War Track, so you got a 12 plus 13 plus D6 move that can still assault with the Death Killer War Track nearby. And Evil Sunz means you get to add 1 to that charge roll. So something like this with Evil Sunz Gorkanauts or a Gorkanaut sounds kind of fun to me. And with Death Dreads, of course, Death Dreads are great because it's 1 upgrade for a unit of 3 because they don't become separate units until afterwards. So you can use this on and get this 1 benefit for 3 Dreadnoughts. And any boost to Killicans, oh my gosh, Killicans with an extra 3-inch move is absolutely fantastic. What is their base move, like 6, right? Let me find out. Yeah, 6 inches. So that gives your Killicans a 9-inch move, which is nothing to laugh at, for sure. And so hopefully we'll just have to wait and see what other kinds of things we have in here and what happens with these custom jobs. So it's still very exciting. And then we also had spoilers of the data sheets for both Makari and Ghazghkull. So Makari is movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 2 attacks, 6 leadership, 6 plus save. Makari Staba, melee, user 0/1. When resolving attacks made with this weapon, a wound roll 6 plus inflicts D3 mortal wounds on the target, and the attack sequence ends. So what that means, of course, is that the he doesn't do any normal wounds. It's just D3 mortal wounds on that. Of course, you can buff him up because he's a character, so you can't use Fist of Orc on him. Ghazghkull's War Banner. When a model in a friendly Goth Orc unit within 6 inches of the model would lose a wound, this model is within 3 inches of a friendly Ghazghkull Thraka unit. Roll 1d6 on a 6+, that wound is not lost. So it's a Goth only feel no pain, but it's for all Goth units, not just infantry. So it applies to vehicles. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. Accidental figurehead, friendly Goth Christian units can use this model's leadership instead of their own while they're within 12. It's only leadership 6, not a great big deal. Suspiciously lucky, of course, this model is a 2-up invulnerable save. Keep up. At the start of the movement phase, if this model is within 3 inches of a friendly Ghazghkull Thraka unit, add 2 inches to this model's move characteristic until the end of that phase. So it just literally allows him to keep up with Ghazghkull. So yeah, he's we don't know what points. He's only 3 power levels, so he's not going to be very many points. And there's definitely some things to build around with him for sure. Let's talk about the big guy himself, Ghazghkull Thraka. Ghazghkull Thraka is movement star, so it's 765. Weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 5, strength star 765. Toughness 7, 12 wounds. Attacks are a star, so it's 5, 6, 7. So he actually gains attacks as he loses wounds. Leadership 8 and a 2-up save. Mork's Roar is 36-inch ranged, assault 12, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. Gore's Claw melee, strength times 2, -4, 4 damage. That is a lot of damage for those number of attacks. And stick bombs, of course, we don't care. Here we go, mob roll, Daka Daka Daka. So pretty good stuff. Great Waff. Friendly Orc infantry units within 6 inches of the model can be chosen to charge with, even if they advance this turn. In addition, add 1 to the attack characteristics of models in friendly Orc infantry units, while their unit is within 6 inches of this model if their unit made a charge move this turn. So that's no big change, except of course because he is not infantry, he does not benefit from that himself. The boss is watching, same rule as always. Prophet of Gorka Mork, this model has a 4-up invulnerable save. In addition, this model can only lose a maximum of 4 wounds in each phase. That is a very powerful ability, especially since there is the stratagem to heal characters. You can't feel no pain directly, or Doc's tools him directly because he's not infantry. But there is the stratagem that allows you to heal D3 wounds. So that will become useful. So he's going to be kind of hard to kill, even though he can be picked out pretty easily. Goff's is the best. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons for models in friendly Goff Orc units while still units within 6 inches of this model. So yeah, rerolling 1 when things are hitting on 2s with war banners and stuff, and exploding 6s. Goffs with this guy in a Goff army, that could be pretty brutal. Grand War Boss. This model can be added in an Orc detachment without preventing other units in that detachment from gaining a clan culture. Very nice ability. In fact, Orc Golf character, monster, War Boss, Ghazghkull Thraka. So he has the War Boss keyword, which will come in important here in a minute. But he is or I guess not with him. No, it's no one. But he's a War Boss, but he's a monster, not infantry, which means you can't jump him, you can't heal him with normal Doc's tools, and you can still teleport to him though. Oh, and there's also the fight twice ability stratagem, which only works on infantry. You can't use either. So you can fight twice when he dies, but that's it. But just remember, if he charges in and he's got 5 wounds after Overwatch, and he's not dying, period. So yeah. And it's per phase, so there's the Overwatch phase, and then there's the charge phase, and the fight phase. So you can still lose, in the right. I do believe that's the way that works. Right, because you need the charge phase and the yeah. So yeah, that's right. So yeah, the fight, the close combat is divided into several phases. So something to keep in mind. But now let's talk about the biggest, the most important release I think so far, and that is the biggest boss. One command point's Orc stratagem. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select one war boss model in your army. Add one to that model's wounds and attacks, and it gains a 4-up invulnerable save. You can only use this stratagem once per battle, and only if your army does not include Ghazghkull. This is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is a game changer. It really is. Because what's the biggest problem with orcs is the lack of invulnerable saves. You send your characters out, they might do some damage, but then they just die horribly. This changes everything. For one command point, you can give your war boss everything he needs. And of course, it's any war boss model, which also includes the war boss on a bike and Zatsnark the Rippa. You can use this on either one of those as well. So now, if you really want to, the war boss on war bike with the Kill a Claw becomes absolutely incredible. So now it's going to be strength 7 and 8 wounds. Right? No. Wounds and attacks. So it's still going to be strength 6, but he's going to have 8 wounds and 5 base attacks with the Kill a Claw. Add in some more Fist of Gork action on him. So now we're talking strength 16 with 7 attacks with the Kill a Claw. And you can give him, if you want to make him the Warlord, you can give him the Warlord trait, rerolls to hit. So now you got 7 attacks hitting on 2s, rerolling, wounding, strength 16, which means wounding everything on 2s, rerolling. I mean, for one command point, I think there's nothing really better that's been revealed so far than the biggest boss. This will probably be used by everybody a whole lot because it's so worth one command point for that, just for the invulnerable save alone. But then you add wounds and attacks on top of it. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. So it's basically turning it's roughly equivalent to changing a captain into a chapter master for the Space Marines, only better because it's orcs, of course. So those are all the reveals that have been out so far. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot more before the book goes on pre-order this week. But that's it for this week's episode of Talking About Orcs. If there are more reveals, I will cover them next week. And thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Orcs. Please subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications for new Talking About Orcs videos every Wednesday, new battle reports every Friday, and hobby videos whenever I can. Thanks for watching.